All right, it is 5 o'clock on Monday, October the 17th. The BEDC Board reserves the right to convene into executive session at any time during the meeting regarding any agenda item in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551, Government Code. We'll start off with any public comments. Do we have any public comments today?
No, sir, we do not.
Very good. Okay, we're going to move into regular business and presentations. First of all, I'd like to give a warm welcome to our new BEDC Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Brett Gardella. Welcome aboard. And I will say that working with Brett right out of the chute, he has definitely hit the ground running, which is excellent. Really going to be really good to have you here taking the reins and leading the organization. I like that. Okay, moving into 3.2, recognition of outgoing board members Kevin Plunkett and Bill Gossip, who's not here, but we really enjoyed them being on the board for many years. And we need to welcome our new board members, Richard Smarzak and Charles Washington. So welcome on board. Very good. Okay, moving right along to 3.3, consideration, discussion, and possible action on election of fiscal year 2022-2023 BEDC officers, Chair, Vice Chair, Secretary, and Treasurer.
I'd like to nominate Ron for Chair.
A second.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Well, then I would like to nominate Jen, again, as Vice Chair on this organization.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. And we definitely need to have a Secretary-Treasurer here. And so, Richard, how do you feel about being the Secretary-Treasurer?
I'm fine with it, thank you.
I'd like to nominate Richard Smarzak to be Secretary-Treasurer.
I'd like to second that.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Excellent. We have a new board.
Yay.
Yay. Thank you very much. Okay. Now we're going to move on to 3.4, consideration, discussion, and possible action on scheduling for the upcoming board meetings, including date and time of meetings. And we've normally been having them on, what, the third Monday, correct?
Well, what always throws that off is MLK, and it's the third one except for not January and February. So for
And
new
now
board, like we don't meet, a lot of times we don't meet in December, and then it's not January, it's not February, and sometimes March is spring break. So it's kind of a weird, that's the rule except, and all the excepts kind of come together.
And now that the city has recognized Juneteenth as a holiday, that also lands on the third Monday.
I mean, that looks like a good enough schedule to me. Anybody have any issue with that particular schedule?
I did want to ask the board one question about November 21st. That's the next meeting. That is the week of Thanksgiving. So I just wanted to make sure we would have a quorum and nobody intends to take the full week off. Of course, the following Monday wouldn't be much better, I'm sure.
I'll be here.
Okay.
I'll be gone the next Monday, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be here
I'll be
myself.
here. It's not a problem for me.
Okay, I think we can keep it. I mean, if there's something that comes up, we have the ability to have special board meetings too.
So you can either make a motion to keep it the way it is, or...
Yeah, I move to make a motion to follow the board meeting schedule as presented in the packet.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Chair Spencer, and I think they plan on doing that, but if the BDC staff could put out the calendar invites so that it's on our calendar, especially with the off weeks, that's helpful. If you would do that, I would very much appreciate it.
Yes, please. That would be very, very helpful as well, yeah. Okay, I guess we're on 3.5 now, moving right along. Approval of the meeting minutes from the BEDC board meeting of September 19th, 2022, and the special board meeting of September 30th, 2022.
Motion to approve the minutes as written.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, motion carries. Very good. Okay, Now, 3.6, the presentation by the City of Bastrop Main Street Program. And thank you very much for giving us the hard copies here. So I'd like to hear what it's all about.
I don't think your mic's on.
Can you hear me now? Hi, y'all. My name is Candace Butts. I'm the Main Street Manager for the City of Bastrop Main Street Program. I just want to first say thank y'all so much for your support for the Main Street Program. Y'all have been a part of our program since its inception in 2007, and we are greatly appreciative for all the support that y'all give our program. So I wanted to just dive right in. Let's go. So we are a nationally accredited Main Street program, and so we do follow the Main Street approach, which outlines a four-point approach that includes organization, that really includes like your partnerships and volunteerism, promotion, which is just communicating the district's unique characteristics to visitors and the community, design, which is creating that safe place, placemaking initiatives and an inviting atmosphere, and then economic vitality, which is attracting businesses, retaining and expanding businesses in the district. I wanted to outline also our funding sources. So you'll see the fiscal year 2022 and fiscal year 2023 budget with the BEDC funds that are allocated, our sponsorships that we brought in from 2022, and then what is projected for 2023, and then the funds from the HOT funds. So I'm going to jump right in because this is how we report to our accrediting program. It's broken down by the four-point approach. And so I'm going to just kind of briefly go over all of our projects from fiscal year 2022, broken down by those four-point approach. So one part of organization is establishing your mission for the program. And so our program mission is that through community partnerships and grassroots community involvement, we will be a stimulant for economic health, design, and promotion of our historic Main Street district. And so that really just means getting all our volunteers, getting our community to have a say in what they want the district to look like. So a part of organization is our partnerships, and we cherish all of our partners. The Bastrop Chamber of Commerce is a great partner. We partner with ribbon cuttings. We have a chamber scholarship that we provide to our businesses that they can attend any trainings that the chamber offers throughout the year. They don't have to be chamber members. They also help us throughout the year at different events downtown by providing their office space as a volunteer check-in and an event hub for Table on Main and some different other events throughout the year. Cultural Arts Commission, they were established in 2021, and their district, their cultural arts district, pretty much intertwines with the Main Street district. So we work hand in hand with any kind of beautification efforts that they do in the district, and with some of our art calls that I'll talk about later, they have helped us with pushing out the art calls and also drafting those art calls. Visit Bastrop, we work with them to promote the district as a whole to visitors and to our local community, but also this year we've been migrating our downtown site onto their website as a microsite, and I'll talk more about that later. The Master Gardeners Association, it is a new partnership that we have this year. They will be helping us maintain some self-watering planters that we'll be putting downtown. And so their organization has to have community hours. So they're going to seasonally plant seasonal flowers in those big planters. And then they have a task force or team that's going to go down there and make sure that they maintain the beauty of those plants throughout the week. And then our Rotary Club, we've partnered with them to fabricate some bicycles that are in the shape of the old Iron Bridge. And so the first one was placed downtown at the library. And so we're looking forward to some additional phases of that program in the next coming year. And then we partnered with the Youth Advisory Council this year as well. They actually partnered with the Cultural Arts Commission to draft an art call for a mural on the side of 1112 Main Street. And based off of a survey that they gave out to the youth of Bastrop, they came up with the art call parameters, and then they asked the Main Street Board to fund the project. And so the Main Street Board funded that project out of their designated fund that is built up from sponsorship money that goes to projects for beautification. And then we've also partnered with the Bird City Coalition to rebrand all of our parking lots to the Bird City branding, and then with Waste Connections for our Downtown Recycles program. And I just wanted to give kind of an intro to our Main Street Advisory Board. We have 9 members on our board. Ms. Carrie Sneed, she joined the board in September of 2021, and she is the owner of KC Outfitters, and she serves on our Downtown Engagement Committee. Ms. Anne Marie Schindler, she just recently, she's our newest board member, joined the board in September 2022, and she is the co-owner of Tracy's Drive-In Grocery and Bastrop Fitness Project. Ms. Steph Lewis, she joined the board in 2019, and she is a passionate advocate for our downtown. She serves on our design committee and is passionate about placemaking initiatives. Ms. Sonia Cotier, she joined the board in May of 2022, and she is the co-owner of Storehouse Market Eatery and Eden East Farm on Main Street. And she, along with Ms. Rhonda Gannon, are the chairs for our Table on Main committee. And Ms. Jennifer Long, she joined the board in July of 2017, and she brings a unique retail perspective to our board, and she's our chair and also chairs the Downtown Engagement Committee. Ms. Candace McClendon joined in September 2018 and has a background in downtown revitalization with her work at the Texas Historical Commission, and she also serves on our design committee. Ms. Rhonda Gannon, she joined in 2019, and she also lives in the district and serves on that Table on Main committee. And Ms. Sean Plesh and Danny Moss, they serve on our sponsorship committee. Ms. Sean, she joined in September 28, and she is one of our founding Main Street Advisory Board members that has been with the program since its inception in 2007. And she's the owner and operator of the Pecan Street Inn. And Ms. Danny Moss joined in 2020, and she's a local artist and lives downtown. And so this year, one of the activities for organization that the board did, they restructured their committees. They kept the design committee, sponsorship, and Table on Main committees. We used to have a Lost Pines Christmas committee and a business retention and expansion committee that were separate. So we decided to add those into the same committee and just renamed it to Downtown Engagement. And that committee was going to be separated into 2 subcommittees: business support and then local activation. The business support keeps all those functions as the business expansion and development committee, and then the local activation is really charged with our growth and making sure that we are communicating to all of our new residents about all the fun things that downtown Bastrop has to offer, and so that Lost Pines Christmas committee also falls underneath that committee. Another part of organization I wanted to highlight this year, we updated our volunteer brochure that has a handy little QR code, so people can just scan it and sign up to volunteer through our listserv. So periodically we'll be sending out volunteer opportunities on events, how to plan, if people are interested in planning the events, or if they just want to help the day of, how to serve on our committees and such. And I just wanted to highlight some of our statistics. This year we're up from last year by 42%, for a total of 600 volunteer hours this year. So our board's been working really, really hard on all of our projects this year. Another portion of the organization committee or organization focus point is sponsorships. We were actually asked by the Texas Main Street our accrediting program to present this year at the Texas Main Street Manager Retreat on our sponsorship opportunities. There's a lot of new Main Street managers in Texas, and so they wanted us to give a fundamentals on sponsorships for Table on Main in our Heritage Bench program. And so I just wanted to highlight our Table on Main. This year we had 14 event sponsors, and we raised over $10,000 on top of our event cost. So it was a great event, and that money goes back into that designated fund so we can do more murals and beautify our district. So promotion, below I highlighted how the BEDC funds were expended this year. Through promotion, $8,650 were of that promotion were towards general promotion, and then $30,600 were allocated towards events, which the BEDC was listed as top sponsors. Now, all these items that I'm going to list, they cost way more than that, but that's just kind of how we allocated it out through the year. Some of these projects were touched. So for our signature events, Table on Main this year was a great success. We had 160 tickets sold this year, and we made that $10,000 in sponsorship, additional funds on those sponsorships. It was from feedback from the community. We are looking at expanding it this next year to 200 tickets. So we're excited about that possibility, and we're looking at moving maybe the hours just 30 minutes later, so that way it promotes dancing and creates more of a night vibe for the event as well. For Wasl Festival and Open House, we had great participation in those as well, and we're looking forward to doing that. Next year's Table on Main will be on April 23rd, and then Wasl Festival will be on November 26th this year, and Lost Pines Christmas will be on December 10th. We also we work really hand in hand with all the event organizers in the district by working with them to push out road closure information and general promotion of those events. This year, Juneteenth brought in 1,500 people to the district. The Lighted Christmas Parade brought in over 14,200 people to the district. And throughout the whole Lost Pines Christmas season, we saw over 110 customers for a total of 110,000 customers, sorry, for over a total of 235,000 visits to our district, which is amazing statistics. And then for Veterans Day Car Show, over 16,600 people were downtown that weekend. So some great events that we host in our downtown. For collaborative marketing, like I mentioned earlier, we've been working with Visit Bastrop to build out our downtown microsite, and there's a little snippet of what we currently have been working with. We did, back in June, contract with Civic Brand to do a place brand audit of our downtown. So they spent 2 days downtown visiting with stakeholders, the public, just getting some basic survey and feedback from individuals. And then they just were absorbing all of our downtown, what our downtown needs and all that good stuff. And they created a place brand audit with recommendations for us moving forward on what we can do to better the district. And these are some of the points that they came up with. They suggested for us to create a downtown coordinated map that would go inside the Visit Bastrop visitor guide, and that would just be able to highlight not only our Main Street businesses, but a lot of people don't realize that our Main Street district is 62 square blocks and not just Main Street. So highlighting all of our businesses in the district, the ones on the side streets, the ones along Chestnut, and that would go inside that map. They also recommended doing a 3-month social media strategy where they would take over fully our downtown Bastrop Facebook and Instagram feeds and learn trends and what people are looking for as far as promoting the district. And then working with our design committee on a placemaking strategy. And then the last thing was expanding out that downtown microsite even more. So working with Civic Brand and Visit Bastrop and even furthering that downtown microsite. Also wanted to highlight some of our communication and engagement data, just some of the reach that we've had last year. We had over 57,000 people reached for our Christmas tree lighting and post. And then our Main Street contacts, so that is our newsletter for our Main Street businesses. So we've been working diligently to make sure our contact lists are up to date every quarter, so you kind of see how we've added more people each quarter. And so right now we're up to 262 contacts. And so that's just pushing out like road closure information, events happening in the district, and that good stuff so the businesses can be in the know. And then this year we've also, the city developed a community engagement newsletter. So that's more focused to the locals or the Bastropians or anybody who wants to sign up to know about what's happening in Bastrop. And so we've been pushing out in events in the district, any kind of promotions to the residents to keep them aware of what's happening. So we're excited to see that subscriber list grow as well.
Just one question. What do you mean by a Main Street open rate? What is that?
Yeah, so the open rate is, so you say you send out 262 emails and 150 people open it. It's that, how many people open the email? Yes. So an average one's like 35%. So we're actually pretty good. But yeah, so you'll see like open rate.
As opposed to that select, delete.
Yes. There's also a click rate, and that's like if you have something inside the email that they have to interact with and they have to click on in the email as well. And so I'm going to move on to our design projects this year. This year we worked on our parking lot rebranding. As I mentioned earlier, all of our parking lots are now identified as birds. And so we created a coordinating brochure that identifies all the parking in the parking lots, but also along Main Street and the side roads where you can and can't park, or where parallel parking or whatnot. And then we redesigned flags for each parking lot. And then in the top right corner, you'll see the old crusty, flaking peace signs. Our design committee worked together and got in a bunch of volunteers one day to like scrape all the peeling adhesive off and then resurface those signs to make them look brand new. You can't even tell they were old. And then the last project for that is going to be reprinting the parking lot maps for each of the parking lots. And so that will be hopefully completed in the next few months. The second project is our new Bastrop in Bloom project. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be putting 11 self-watering planters downtown, and we've partnered with the master gardeners to select seasonal plants for each quarter. So they'll be replanted each quarter, and then they also are going to have a team of people that just go down Main Street to just make sure there's not like a dead flower or something in there. They're going to like pick, pluck it out and make sure it's looking good. And then we are we're actually setting those out on Thursday. So we're excited to see those out in our district. We also worked on the Heritage Bench program. This year we were selling sponsorship for phase 1, and then our design committee worked on placements of phase 2 and phase 3. So phase 2, you probably already saw, they were placed back in September from Walnut Street down to Ferry Park. And so if you're interested in sponsoring a bench, those are available for sponsorships. And then phase 3 will be delivered at the end of October, and those will be placed out at various locations along Main Street and then Pine Street and Spring Street. So those will be available for sponsorships as well. We also redesigned our bridge flags. The previous bridge flags were much smaller than the ones now, and there were only 1 per pole, and we doubled those, so there's now 2 per pole, and they're double the size. So it makes a bigger impact for people coming over the bridge into Main Street. So that just beautifies that area. And then our Downtown Recycles program, our design committee has been working hard with Waste Connections to order the dual recycling cans that will be delivered at the end of October, and then coming up with a program on how to raise awareness in the district for recycling promotion, or recycling. We've also been working on a CROSSWALK mural project. So this project is 3 phases, and we plan on installing 2 crosswalks a year. And so the first phase will include the crosswalks at the intersection of Main and Chestnut, and then the crosswalk at the intersection of Main and Spring. The design committee worked closely with the Cultural Arts Commission to draft a art call and just make sure that all the parameters are met. And then they also worked with them to push it out to all the local art community through their listserv. They met and narrowed down the selections from 13 to 3 with some design changes or recommendations, and they were able to select 2 crosswalk mural selections from there, and presented it to the Cultural Arts Commission and Main Street Board for approval. and it will go to council on October 25th for final approval.
How long do we expect that to last?
Yeah, so a typical crosswalk mural lasts between 3 to 5 years.
Thank you.
So the goal of the program is for the next 3 years, build out those 2 crosswalks a year and then revisit, if needed, the first 2 with a new design. And so for our downtown lighting, I just wanted to give y'all an update on this project. It originally started out as a CIP project, but we found out that some of the electrical needs for the uplighting the trees were more extensive than we thought. So we broke that out. The tree lightings is still going to be a CIP project, but the roof line lighting has been moved to a management project. And so years ago, there were some electrical outlets put along the roof line in preparation for potential roof line lighting. But so we did our BPNL went out to do a hot check map and discovered that not all of the outlets are still there, and they may not have been completed over time. So we are working with 2 lighting companies in Texas to provide a quote for installing those lighting outlets up there. And so once we get that quote back, we've already been in contact with some business owners, and we've already drafted the legal agreement, and it's ready to go. So once we get that quote back, we'll be diligently working hard to get those easements to complete that project.
I have a question on the tree uplighting.
Yes.
How is that going to work in coordination with the dark skies ordinances that are here in town?
So we actually brought in our planning director, Jennifer Bills, as we've been having conversations with these lighting companies. And so they have ways, they actually bring out lumen meters to make sure that none of the lighting of the trees or the lighting along the roof lines is in violation of dark skies.
Thank you.
So the last 4-point approach that we follow is our economic vitality. And so this year's budget, we used $10,750 from the EDC funds towards that business development and support for that. And so that really includes business support is one of those. And this year, the Main Street program worked on building out our Main Street program website with a resource tab that has some of our Main Street Academy promotional materials and webinar videos. It also has our chamber scholarship form and some different other resources for our businesses downtown. This year, we also redesigned our Main Street Academy. Before, we were doing like webinars, and so we decided to do videos that were sent out to our newsletter and also housed on our resource library so that our businesses can view those at any time they can. So that way it's flexible and they can maximize on their time. And so they're all located on our resource library, so anytime a new business comes into town, we direct them to that, so that way they can go back and look at any of the resources provided in those videos.
Can I ask you a question? So
Yes,
what's
ma'am.
being done with the businesses downtown in terms of, we have these big events like, the stroll and whatever, right? But do we ever do anything for the smaller businesses? Like, for instance, we have a couple wineries, we have a distillery, we have a lot of great restaurants. What do we do that is more ongoing rather than one day a month, kind of First Friday-ish? Do we do anything to drive business to them?
We do promote them on our social media pages and things like that. As far as other initiatives, we are working this year on a new small business campaign for the small business season. So we'll be getting some information and promotional materials from them as far as what they're going to have during that season. But that's definitely something that we can consider as a group.
I was thinking thematic, right? That
Right.
everybody's joining in terms of, so I used to live in Georgetown, and so all the places get together and they'll do something in mass, right? And
Right.
it's called something, for that
Right, for
particular event. But it's thematic, and it's more than social media. It's actually bringing individuals to hit a number of places as part of an event. And not
Yes.
so big as the music event, something
Right.
smaller, right?
So it's kind of similar, like our Wasl Festival, but something different, like more, like on a regular basis, is what you're saying. Okay, awesome. That would be something we would look into. Thank you. And then that resource library will also have that chamber scholarship opportunities there. And then we're, like I mentioned, Small Business Saturday, we're going to do a season this year and push out more awareness on our social media platforms and other areas on different promotions to encourage people to shop small during the whole holiday season. We've also been working on business recruitment. We've contracted with a retail coach to provide some market analysis. He's given us some good information all the way back to 2020, and we are going to be having a meeting. He's already spoke to our board at our Main Street board retreat back in September, and kind of gave them the lowdown of what all the statistics mean and how to maximize on that. And then we're going to be scheduling a meeting with our business owners for him to go over that further with them as well, so they can maximize on that data and create some different business hours depending on whatever that whatever that presentation looks like. We've also been working on a convention center hotel. Since 2015, the city's been looking to partner with the developer on the possibility of a convention center hotel. And so last fiscal year, City Council issued a letter of intent for a 120-room full-service hotel with a major flag. So the goal for this year is to complete due diligence towards the negotiation and finalize that partnership. And so I just wanted to give a little snapshot of that retail coach data from this past fiscal year, from September 2021 to August 2022. We've had over 270,000 customers in the district that made 1.54 million visits. Out of that, those 270.8 thousand, 11% had the 78602 zip code, which is pretty amazing. That means we're a tourism-driven town, and people are coming from all around us to come and visit. And they also stayed over 113 minutes, so they're spending some time in our downtown, which is what we want. We want them to stay longer. We had 11 new businesses. Some of those new businesses included Brainwell, Ramble On Salon, Homespun Wisdom, Pines and Needles Tattoo, Body Shine and Wellness, and then one business expansion, which was Vibe Tribe. And then we've been working to calculate our vacancy rate. That is a really hard thing to do, so our board is going to be dividing the district quarterly and working towards making that as accurate as possible. Right now, we're at a 10% vacancy rate as of July, and in a normal, thriving Main Street, their vacancy rate's between 5 and 8%. So we're working towards that 8% and then hopefully back to 5%. So what's to come? I wanted to give y'all a little snapshot of what our plans are for, our projects are for 2023. For organization, the Cultural Arts Commission just created their mini grant program. So we're gonna work with them to promote that, because that program is going to be given $500 to $1,500 scholarships or sponsorships or grants to artists in town to either throw events or install public art, anything like that. So we want to beautify the district. We want to also bring people downtown. So we're gonna work hand in hand with them to promote that. And then we're going to continue our contract with Civic Brand and further build out that downtown microsite with the help of Visit Bastrop. And then this year, our sponsorship committee, instead of asking for people to donate for individual events for sponsorships, we're asking them just to sign up one time a year to sponsor a whole package throughout the year. So they'll get, depending on the level of sponsorship, they will get X, Y, or Z instead of asking them for each event.
So I have another question. So what's your sponsorship right now, and what do you plan to grow it to? So what's your objective there?
So right now we had 14 sponsors for just Table on Main. That was the only event that we asked for sponsors for last year. This year, we're projecting about $36,000 in sponsorships just based off of these packages. We're hoping to use that money to beautify the district, maybe putting more art murals downtown, maybe creating like pocket parks or different placemaking items. So it'll go to different separate projects.
So do you proactively target businesses for the sponsorships, or do you do it just in time? They express interest in you?
So they are proactively targeting. So right now, the sponsorship packages just became live in October. So they're actively going out and asking for sponsorships for the year. Yes, ma'am.
How's that different from partnerships then? And do you target them in the same way?
So our partners are a little different. They're like groups that, some of our partners are sponsors. So that's a little different, though, that partners are something we're like working towards a goal with, or we've created an agreement to like beautify or host our website or something like that. Sponsors are just, they may not be a partner, they may not have a hand in the actual implementation of something. They just are sponsoring, giving physical money towards a project. Does that make sense?
So do you intend to grow your partnerships as well, since
Yes.
there's opportunity there?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
What would that be? What is your target to grow that partnership?
I think it's just creating seeing what we are currently doing and see how we can partner in different ways. For example, I didn't mention earlier, but this year for the CROSSWALK murals, we did, one of our design committee said, hey, why don't we reach out to Sherwin-Williams and see if they can donate the paints for our CROSSWALK mural project. And so we were able to, they would be considered both a partner and a sponsor, because they donated a physical item, but also like they were pretty much sponsoring us to install the art. And it helped us not create such a physical impact on the artist, because we were able to compensate them more for the project. And then this year we will be selling our Phase 2 and Phase 3 sponsorships for our Heritage Bench program. And then we wanted to create a volunteer and sponsorship reception just to promote volunteerism and encourage and appreciate all of our volunteers and sponsors throughout the year. And then we will continue our Main Street Board Retreat. Our goal is to visit some other nationally accredited programs and kind of get ideas from them, what's going on in their district, new projects and stuff like that, to create inspiration and see how they support their businesses as well. For promotion, we have been working on developing a Main Street Manager blog, which will be weekly little blog posts about what's happening in the district, business spotlights, and different initiatives and events through that, and that'll be shared out through our newsletter and on social media as well. We'll be working with Civic Brand for that our social media study and plan, and then our local activation committee will be working on new resident bags that will consist of some different promotions from the Main Street District and be given to the title companies for new residents that come in to promote them to come downtown. And then we'll continue doing our Table on Main and Lost Pines Christmas, and then we're going to be working on that the creation of that downtown map. For design, we're going to be installing Phase 1 of the CROSSWALK mural in November, hopefully, and then begin planning the Phase 2 for the following year. We'll be working with Civic Brand as well as on that placemaking plan, and then the downtown recycling program will kickstart in November once those recycling cans get here at the end of the month. And then Phase 2, the Bastrop and Bloom project, where we're going to be putting some additional planters along the side streets. And then lastly, our economic vitality, we'll be working with that convention center hotel agreement and making sure we do that due diligence and the finalization of that project. And then we are working with the retail coach on getting targeted retail recruitment. So he's been gathering a list of businesses that Bastropians are going outside of to shop to. So we're working on hopefully bringing those businesses into downtown Bastrop and keeping our Bastropians in downtown longer, but also drawing visitors here as well. And then we're going to be working on a business toolkit, and then continue our Main Street Academy and market. We're going to have that market analysis review meeting. And then that's it. I want to say thank y'all so much for your support. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Y'all have been very busy. Really good presentation. I am impressed by the number of volunteers that you're able to get and to work on all the different projects that you have. That's quite commendable.
Yes, we're proud of our volunteer base. We have some passionate individuals that love the Main Street District, and so we're super proud about that. If y'all ever want to volunteer, I will let you know how to sign up.
Can we raise other people's hands? Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, good job. Okay, we are going to now move into the executive session of tonight's program. The BEDC Board of Directors will meet in a closed executive session pursuant to the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, to discuss the following. Number 1, Section 551.087, deliberation regarding economic development negotiations, the Project Triple Arrow. Number 2, Section 551.02, deliberation regarding purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate property. The BEDC Board of Directors will reconvene into open session to discuss, consider, and take any action necessary related to the executive session noted herein. Okay, it is 6:22, and we are reconvening into open session to discuss, consider, and take any action necessary related to the executive session noted herein.
Move to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Adjourned.